Alright, so just an update from the last week. I think the metrics are pretty much the same. Surprised that we still have 2 users. And yeah, retention pretty much we haven't got any new signups. So I'll just go through the weekly update. So number of users, I haven't talked to anybody in this week. So it's gonna be 0. Active users in last week, this is our primary metric, so that's also pretty much 2 based on the logs. I'd say morale is pretty low. I'd say about 2 3. And what most improved your primary metric? Doing nothing. Yeah, so regarding the next goals for the next week, I actually might have to divert a bit because I'm facing a lot of issues in work where I need to do QA, and if I pretty much resolve that, like if I build something to solve that, at least in the meanwhile, then it should free up quite a lot of my time. So in terms of the highest leverage task, that should be the one. So I'm thinking I'll at least create an MVP for QA automation, and I can actually implement it with and test it out with the current habit tracker as well. So that should be like that should solve a lot of problems in terms of time for me, especially because I'm pretty much playing catch up the whole time. So um, that actually comes into the biggest obstacle. And as usual, life obviously stuff happens. So yeah, so for the QA, it's basically I tried multiple versions of the app and it became quite complex to to test the app, like run automation tests for the app. So I'm starting out with like a manual template which I can use as soon as possible. So I built that out. I just need to test it and use it, and then like sort of like get like an architecture in place and test it out. Another thing is like the most I was going through the tasks in the app, and what I felt was like the biggest thing that I could do would be to wrap the app and list it on the Android store, since it's anyways a free app, because that should resolve my traffic. Since it's in a crowded niche, if I wrap it and I do a decent thing, it should get like a good amount of traffic. Like even if it's low traffic, it should get like continuous traffic. So I'm thinking that would be like the highest leverage, and that should resolve quite a lot of my things. And if that doesn't work out, then I can continue to posting on Reddit and figuring that thing out. So I want to finalize the QA template, and also I'm thinking that the QA automation. So basically, what I want to build is like a QA automation application, and what it will do is like it will create tests. It will go through your application, look at all the features and workflows and actions, and it will create tests for that, and it will run those tests automatically. So I'm currently um, like that's pretty much two parts. One is like creating the coverage map of all your applications, actions, and workflows. So that's one part, and then the second part is creating the ability for it to run the test cases. So I've actually built this out a couple of times, but it's not been scalable. Like it's been too much manual work. Like the coverage part especially. The running of the test part is pretty straightforward, so um, that shouldn't be an issue. But creating coverages and test cases that cover everything is quite challenging because of all the permutation and combinations. So I'm just going to focus on that part. And I have quite a few repos already, like a couple of repos that do the test automation. So that part should be straightforward. So I'll just um, MVP. And if somehow I can like even break it down further where like I already have the QA template, I'll refine that a bit. And after creating the coverage map, like probably create like a like have no code, create like the mapping that will feed into the QA template. So what my idea is, I'll do as much manual stuff as possible. Like I can manually, like initially with the QA template, all we have is a Google sheet or an Excel sheet with columns, and everything else is manual. The user is manually adding the cases, stuff like that. So that's our level, ground level. And after that, like even that, I need to have it in a certain way that it can cover an extremely complex application, because that's the one I'm working on, and I'm facing issues on the sheer number of possibilities and permutations. So just having that a good base, and then slowly, instead of us personally mapping out what the possibilities are, if it's possible for it to create the rows in the sheet, and then it feeds into the QA template. But the actual testing is done manually. So if I can get to that point, I think it would be better.